In this lesson, let's learn about quadratic functions and quadratic equations, as well as how to solve them. 二次関数と二次方程式。二次方程式の解法。There are two main methods for solving quadratic equations. The first method is to use factorization, factoring the quadratic equation x squared plus 3x minus 28 equals 0, which yields parentheses x plus 7 parentheses times parentheses x minus 4 parentheses equals 0. Since this equation is true when x plus 7 equals 0 or x minus 4 equals 0, the solution we seek will be x equals negative 7 and 4. When you can't come up with the factorial cross-multiply. Here's a review of cross-multiplying. First, write the numbers in the following order. Coefficient of the second degree, coefficient of the 0th degree, or in other words the constant, and coefficient of the first degree. Next, we multiply such that the coefficient of the second degree term and the coefficient of the constant are the solutions. The second degree coefficient is 3, so 1 times 3, and the constant's coefficient is negative 8, so 1 times 3 and 1 times 3 respectively. The constant's coefficient is negative 8, so 2 times negative 4. We write them down like this. Next, the numbers you just wrote are multiplied diagonally, and the solution is written above the first degree coefficient like this. In this case, 1 times negative 4 equals negative 4, and 3 times 2 equals 6. Pay attention to the numbers above the first degree coefficient. If the sum of these numbers is equal to the coefficient of the first degree, the cross multiplication was successful. If it is not, redo the multiplication to solve for the coefficients of the second degree and constant, or change the position of the numbers. The factorization can be expressed as follows. This is so that the areas circled in the blue match the area circled in the green. Therefore, the solution to this quadratic equation is x equals 3 over 4 and negative 2. Next, we will use the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula solves the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 and can be expressed as x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is an actual example of using the quadratic formula. Now let's solve a practice problem. Solve the following quadratic equation. Press the pause button and try to solve the practice problem. Once you're finished, press the resume button and mark what you got correct. Now let's check our answers. Number 1 is factored into x equals negative 9 and negative 4. Number 2 is factored into x equals 2 over 3 and negative 3 over 5. The answer to number 3 is 7 plus or minus square root of 37 over 6. The answer to number 4 is negative 6 plus or minus 5 square root of 2 over 6. Were you able to answer correctly? Finally, let's review what we have learned. There's a way to find quadratic equations by using factorization. If you cannot come up with the factors, use cross multiplication. When factorization is not possible, the quadratic formula is used to find the solution. The quadratic formula can be expressed as x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is an example of how to actually find the solution using quadratic formula. That concludes this lesson.